Welcome back to Creepcast! Today we are doing a fan-submitted story. That's right. You can upload your stories on r/Creepcast, and you don't have to post on NoSleep and have it deleted immediately. And I probably shouldn't throw shade at NoSleep all the time.
We had a 15-minute dig at them in an episode where, if I recall, your impression of them was, that was you. That was how you said they sound.
You can upload your stories to r/Creepcast, and we'll read them like this one here, which is I love the title, and also Harry read it, which, as of recently, doesn't have the best track record with stuff, but still,
Brick.
The Journal of an Unknown Soldier, U.S. Navajo War, 1863. We get to go back in time a little bit. Have we done like a Western-y thing
I mean,
yet?
I feel like there's been historical stuff.
I don't think we've gone like a Western, though.
No.
We've never dived into like a Western story, which would be kind of fun. No. Which also, if you're like, oh, I don't want a cowboy story, why don't you just fucking hang around for a second?
I didn't even hear.
I don't know if I want to listen to a cowboy story.
I think at this point, like the people who are like watching this right now, they're here.
Okay.
I think whatever the title is,
that's
going on. I think we've established well enough that a lot of our diatribes will have nothing to do with the actual subject matter.
That's true.
Or what's being discussed. So I think they're here.
All right.
So the author of this story is User Strange Accounts. It seems his real name is Travis Weaver, although he doesn't have any like social media accounts linked for me to see like specifically which Travis Weaver, if he has work elsewhere. Yeah. But on this Reddit account, this guy posts a ton. We've got this one, and it seems a lot of them are historic based, because he's got this one, The Journal of an Exorcist, Diocese of Richford, 1975, The Journal of a Former Detective, Irish Coffin Ship, 1847. So it's like all these different.
This feels like a fan
stuff.
of yours.
I hope so. Probably.
This feels like somebody who likes the deep divey stuff. Like I feel like there's going to be a lot of niche like comments, or like, you know what I mean, like niche Easter eggs where you'll be like, where it'll get you a little chubbed up, being like, that reminds me of this.
Okay, well, listen to this. One of them he posted 12 days ago is called "The Journal of a Coal Miner's Daughter, West Virginia, 1907." What was I talking about right before we began?
The U.S. military killing mole people.
Coal miners.
Coal miners.
I was talking about the coal miners that he wrote a story about, a horror story framed around.
Yeah.
So I like him already. He's also super active in r/Creepcast, not even about his own stories. He's just like talking to different people. His favorite episode, it seems, is the Left-Right game. So good man.
You know, it's like being a Metallica fan and your favorite album is the Black Album. You know. It's easy. It's an easy.
You know, sometimes like just the popular thing's good.
That's true.
That's possible.
That's true. I mean, it was one of my favorite ones to record.
Yeah, it's a good story.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, a lot of good stories out there too. Also, if you're
is this because you think he's my fan? Is that why you're being like aggressive?
No.
All right, well, we're going to read this today and see how it is.
I'm excited. It's cool. I always like with these fan-submitted stories of people that are active in the subreddit, and to have someone who's so active too, commentating and stuff. This is the kind of community that we need, you know? Yep. People building each other up. That's what I love.
I'll also say about him, every time someone else posts a story, he's like reading it and replying like advice and stuff.
King move.
Keep that up.
King.
Like to see it, as opposed to r/NoSleep.
Well,
when it's like, nothing happened in your story. So bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Delete.
Bye-bye.
Delete.
Story.
Banned. That deal.
He actually, not to completely slander, he does, before Creepcast, he posted on NoSleep a lot. So, credit where it's due.
Should we ban him here?
Should we ban him? If you post on NoSleep.
If you post on NoSleep at all, you're banned.
That's the only rule on r/Creepcast. You cannot post to NoSleep.
Even though we've read almost 90% of our episodes are all NoSleep.
This entire show has been built on NoSleep.
It's true.
Get it out of here.
Yeah.
Throw it out.
All right, cool. Well, you want to jump in?
I'm ready. Let's begin. From the Journal of an Unnamed Soldier, 1863. Auxiliary Scout, attached to Colonel Carson's column. September the 12th, camp along the Rio Puerco. I set my hand to an account of our company and the deeds that pass under a man who's had his share of smoke and not near enough coin. Oh. He's already got me. I like that. That was a good.
I don't know what that means.
A man who's had his share of smoke and not near enough coin.
He's had too much gunfire and not enough pay.
There you go.
What if he was talking about, like, fucking...
Whoa, what if he was...
He's like, let me bust out the song.
No, that'd be pretty cool.
He does. Fog machine. And they're like, stop, that's crystal meth. He just explodes. Dude, you hit too much of that crystal.
My bad.
All right, first line, pretty good.
My name need not be written full. Cut of these pages will tell it. I was once of the artillery, a gunner of fair repute, and bore the weight of the 12-pounder as a mule bears its yoke. Yet a soldier under flag is forever shackled by rule and quarter, while a soldier for hire, he'd only answer the call of his stomach and the weight of silver. So I turned cutthroat, ride now with Crawley Briggs. Briggs is hard stock, a cavalryman turned out of the regulars for sins no one puts to paper. He looks hewn from black oak, cracked by sun, with a set to him that cuts keen whenever there's profit to be sniffed. He holds the leash on our company, though it is a leash frayed and near to snapping, for we are no single breed. Thieves, runaways, half-blood scouts, turncoats from both sides, and one fellow swore to have shot his own kin at Shiloh. I hold no admiration for them, but I keep their pace, for coin cares little for the color of a man's soul. I said, I'm vibing.
I know, I was just waiting for the break because I knew it was like,
You
oh
knew it
my
was
God,
coming.
I'm in. I was just waiting. I was like holding there. I was just like,
You know what? I'm sorry I like stories. I'm sorry I like writing. My bad.
yeah, probably a bad podcast to be a part of.
Yeah, my bad. I sat down here the talk I caught by the fire when we pulled clear of Santa Fe.
Tell it again, Crawley.
One of the Boone boys said, kicking dust at the blaze.
How many did you ride down that night?
Briggs leaned back on his stone and drawled.
8 by my reckon. Though a few broke and I ran before I laid steel to them.
Yancey let out a bark.
8? I'd be glad to tally half that in a week.
Another voice cut through in the smoke.
You keep jawing, Yancey. You're the only fool I know ever shot his own horse middle of the fight.
Circle broke into laughter, harsh as gravel rattling from his sack. Yancey spat into the coals.
That beast near pitched me on my neck. Got what it asked for. Besides, I'll break the next one.
Pike worked a chaw between his teeth and pitched his question across the blaze.
Captain, they say Carson means to drive the Navajo clean out. Burn the crops, starve them until they can come begging. That true?
Briggs shifted his boots on the stone and answered flat.
Carson means to herd the whole breed in the Bosch Redondo. They'll grow mesquite bark for winter's done if the army has its way. All workers seen them driving. No Hogan left standing. No sheep left grazing.
Old Donnelly hacked into his sleeve and wheezed.
You reckon the pay will hold?
Briggs raked a coal with his boot heel.
Pay holds when there's meat on the carcass. Uncle Sam's purse opens deep when it suits him. And if he clenches it shut, we'll cut our share from whatever's left behind.
The Boone brothers, Texans as they were, barked out a holler and knocked their cups together. Harlan pushed his hands near the flame.
Heard the Navajo keep trinkets. Maybe silver. Stones finer than Mexican coin. You reckon we'll come across any?
Fire threw a gleam across Briggs.
You'll find what you got in the stomach to bleed for. But mark me, anything lifted belongs to the troop. Try to shave any man's portion and I'll see your hands cut off.
After that, the talk soured. They turned it toward women, the kind of boasting a man's ears have no use for. I laid my tin aside and eased back from the ring. Man may stomach war and butchering beef, yet there's a cruelty in these fellows that rides deeper than hunger itself. It's on these nights I reckon the desert keeps its own book on us. The mesas just like judges. The mesas rise like judges. The stars burn holes through a man's skin. We bury little, for there is no time. The coyotes drag what we leave. The wind takes the scraps, yet the land holds the memory all the same. I lay now under a bit of canvas, the desert rasping its song across the edges. Their talk drifts yet, tumbling like dice in the dark. I know well enough I ride with men who'd cut me as soon as shake my palm. But the pay is promised, and my gut recalls the lean months when I quit the guns. Better a place among wolves than to go hungry with the sheep. I close here for the night. Briggs alone keeps the edge of the fire now, darker shadow than the rest. He was made for the hours after sundown. Okay, so that's the end of the first entry. Okay. I know you get on to me. I know you're like, oh, you like this? You're bought in, but I am bought in. Okay. The language, very good command of words.
You have any cash on you?
Why?
Buy it in.
Okay, I'm buying in.
Take a couple out and throw it on the floor. Buy it in. We'll see how much she has bought in for. $5 buy-in. Price of admission. There's the tip. What was that one?
20.
Damn! $5 buy-in with a $20 tip?
For this story, yes.
All right. So let's go over the first journal entry. Couple cowboys going around, getting ready to start basically talking about the job coming in. And then some people who are talking to Briggs, the captain, who's just like, what do you think we're in for? And they're kind of looking around, and he's more of a stern type. You can't take more than what you deserve kind of thing.
You'll get whatever you're willing to bleed for. Yeah. It's not going to be easy pickings. Because the author mentions, he was like, I remember the lean months when I quit the guns. So he tried to step away from the violence, this career of his, so to speak, and he nearly starved for it. So he had to come back to this. But it seems that a lot of the other people there are there for an easy dollar. They're talking like, I hear after we kill them, they've got silver. We can keep the silver. And Briggs is kind of putting his heel on it, saying like, you're going to be in a fight.
It's written well.
Yeah.
I like the very pedally, like floral nature of like the descriptions and the kind of fantastical. It fits that. It makes me think I'm in like the Southwest. Yeah. You know what I mean? It fits that cowboy aesthetic, I guess is what I'm saying.
It also, I mean, not obviously Cormac McCarthy's McCarthy, but it reminded me of Blood Meridian in the way the scenery is so florally described, but the dialogue is so abrupt and like slargan, like, reckon we'll get blah, blah, blah. But then it's described
except he knows how to use quotations.
Yeah. It's yeah, that's true. There's an interview with McCarthy one time when he said, why would I want to mark up the page with silly little dashes? He's just like, no, I don't like him.
The literary guy sitting there, he's just like,
okay, interesting. But like some of the stuff, like the Mesas rise like judges. I reckon the desert keeps books on us, stuff like that.
You ever see the movie Bone Tomahawk?
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to go into something like that where the Navajo are like some kind of... It's less about it being like actual Navajo Indians, and maybe it could be like more of a... Not like zombie, but something where it's like a skinwalker-y kind of thing that exists out. You know what I mean?
It could,
because it seems like they're venturing in an unknown land, and they're bargaining for more. They're bargaining. What's the correct rate? They're bargaining for more than they want. What's the deal?
They're gonna get more than they bargained for.
They're gonna get more than they bargained for.
Yeah, they bit off more than they can chew.
They're gonna bite off more than they can chew.
They're going to bargain more than they can chew.
They're going to bite
what they're bargaining.
They're going to bargain what they should have bargained.
They're going to bite. They're going to bargain the bite that they should have chewed but didn't.
You know what I mean? Do you think we're going to lean towards that?
So the difference to me is Bone Tomahawk opens with the two runaways causing problems with that.
Yeah,
they weren't. It's never said what they were. It's like, oh, these are the people that killed the natives or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it's similar. I'm just wondering if it's a thing where they go in with a preconceived notion of like, oh, we're going into Indian territory, only to be met with like, in Bone Tomahawk, they're like, oh, these are like actual savages, where it's like these are like almost like primordial entities that are like doing like they're gutting people open and doing like they're like almost inhuman. They like get shot and it doesn't really affect them.
Yeah, and there's some line in that movie where they're like Oh, they like the natives told legend of these.
Yeah,
things
like
or
they're
whatever,
almost like
yeah.
a skinwalker, kind of like they're like an entity. They're not necessarily, but they're like it's a collection of them. It's like a
Yeah.
whatever. But basically, do you think we're going towards that, or do you think it's going to be?
So what I was saying is the difference to me is in Bone Tomahawk, it is like a peaceful group of people that are attacked, right? Because of the actions of a couple, the two that go out, steal riches or whatever. Then that prisoner gets brought to town, and that's why they come and break him out, and all that violence starts. Whereas here, it's like them going looking for the violence. They're the headhunters in this scenario. So it could just be they lose, right? But I feel like that may be not predictable, because if it's written well, that's fine if you can predict a story. But I guess kind of predictable in that we're gonna go fight, we lose. I feel like there needs to be some further twist rather than like these guys beat us, fair and square.
I'm just wondering if they're even going to deal with any of the
crazy word to say.
That's how the Cowboys used to say.
Yeah, they'd say
Right?
engine.
Isn't that how they used to say it?
Yeah, but that's like a slur now, I think.
What?
I
I thought it was just a stupid way of saying Indians.
No, I
Jump
don't
on
know.
them hills.
Well, you see, if you do it like that, it's better.
Yeah.
Rather than you being like, what about the like,
Yeah, say, well, they're going to come across the way there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's better when you say
I'm
the
just
accent on it.
wondering, it's like they're going to go looking for the Navajo, but they're going to stumble across something far darker.
That's what I think will happen.
Yeah.
Likely. Yeah.
All right, entry 2.
Entry 2. September the 18th, camp near the San Mateo Range. We pulled east with first light. A column of dust and horse flesh winding out of the valley like smoke from a cannon's throat. So, see, how do you, like, stuff like that? The imagery, like, a line of horse flesh like smoke from a cannon's throat. Like, how, that don't do anything for you?
I like it.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's good.
It gets me fired up. It's like coffee. I'm like, all right, I'm in. I'm bought.
You're
ready.
bought. Well, price of admission.
Heard that was all my money.
Come back when you got more.
I have $25.
Also, not to derail it too much, but I do have a name I want to run by you because I don't really like. I'd hate the unnamed thing. The guy, like unnamed
character?
soldier, right? Can I pitch a name for you and just see if we can roll with it?
Go ahead.
La Jonah pepper spray.
The sun rose fierce, cutting long black lines across the mesas. It was a cruel light, one that showed every wrinkle of rock and every sore upon a man's skin. This land gives no quarter. Man must bend to its terms or break outright. I've taken to reading the men by their horses, for beasts seldom lie. Yancey, the fool that he is, rides a raw colt with the white showing round its eyes. The beast jigs and tosses its head until the whole line swears at him. He rides it hard, jerks the reins, spurs till it bleeds, yet the beast fights him still. Twice it near threw him, and twice he struck it across the eyes. The animal rolls white in its gaze and foams like a rabid thing. I think it waits for the hour to kill him proper. Okay, this whole description of the horses, how the men ride them, stuff like that, excellent. I don't know if he got it from somewhere, but this is great. I love it. Briggs rides another breed altogether. His one-eyed gray bears the mark of an old saber work along its hind, yet never falters, not even when shale breaks loose beneath. It carries him as though horse and rider share one mind. When the column wavers, that gelding steadies its gait. The rest fall in line with it. The rest fall somewhere between. Pike rides a mare lean as himself. Harlan's surreal dances at every snake, and the Boone brothers kick their dun ponies, beasts never starved, yet running with the spite that keeps them living. My own is a roan I took off a farm boy outside Santa Fe. Sound legs, steady temper, eats what it can find, and heeds my rein without fuss. So that's interesting because it's talking about like how the different men, the horses are kind of an extension for themselves, and his own is one that eats when it cans, but follows orders without a fuss. Similar to how like our author is willing to go along with this horrific, the act they're about to go
well, it's
on.
a creative way of of like telling about your characters without being like, I'm like this. It's like
He's like this. He does this.
You're literally just understanding who the characters are through the characteristics of their horses.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
It's very cool. By midday, we crossed a cedar flat where the soil split like old hide. Heat drove the men quiet. Only the groan of saddle leather carried. Pike lit a match and pulled a long draw, working it as if he meant that smoke to the last day. After a mile or so, Yancey broke the hush, as he always must.
Captain, think we'll see Kit Carson out this way?
Briggs kept his seat straight ahead.
Carson rides with soldiers, not with the like of us.
Yancey gave a snort that fell flat.
Thought he'd maybe give us orders face to face. Man's got a name. Ought to share it.
Pike flicked ash from his lip.
Carson don't give nothing but long marches.
Donnelly hacked into his sleeve and grunted.
And he'd give pay if we'd do the work.
Briggs drew his gray up and let his stare run the line.
True enough. You want pay, you ride forward. You want a friend's hand, turn back to Santa Fe. No man here's promised company or reputation.
Words closed Yancey's mouth for a time, though his Colt still jigged sideways and near upset the file. I caught Briggs watching him with that knife-hard gaze of his. One day soon, he will put Yancey in the dirt. No man will mourn it long. So we rode on.
Seen smoke yonders last night.
Pike said, nodding at the hills. Donnelly squinted over.
Could be Mescalero. Could be Navajo. Could be some farmer too dumb to know where to plow. Farmer?
Said Yancey with a laugh like a bark.
Sure thing.
The Texan Boone brother called Charles spoke up.
Let it be Navajo. I'm sick of riding with empty hands. Ain't shot a soul in a week.
His other half, Jesse, spat and flared crooked teeth.
You'll get your chance. Carson's hounds always flush game.
Briggs looked back, his black hat low over his brow.
Best keep your powder dry. If we're following smoke, you'll see more than you care for before long.
By evening, we drew up where the grass hissed underfoot and the sky bled purple along the ridges. Fire went quick to life. The men sat close, talking as they ever do. Plunder to come, women to take, silver promised and silver imagined. I kept back with my 10 in this journal, letting their talk drift while coyotes raised their racket beyond the glow. It's a cursed thing, riding with wolves. Still, my purse runs thin, and their fire warms as sure as any. Tomorrow we push towards that smoke, and the country will bear what it hides.
Seems like Brig kind of knows maybe something that they don't.
Yeah, well, so here's what I was going to say. People will probably compare this so far to, like, the judge, right? The judge being the figure in Blood Meridian who's, like, the overbearing kind of presence in the camp that leads them to war, even though he's not the group leader. That's Glanton. But I think this is more similar to the beginning in Blood Meridian when the kid's riding in the cavalry before he meets the Glanton gang, or before he becomes a part of it. Because in that story, I forget his name. I think it's White something. But the cavalry leader is taking them to kill the natives. And over the course of it, everyone's like real eager for battle. And the leader's just trying to keep a level head, like, just keep your business up, boys. We'll be fine. We'll get it done. And as soon as they get into contact, they are all slaughtered instantly. Like, they get decimated. There's this section in the book where it talks about the Band of Terribles. It talks about how the natives are wearing armors of like Spanish conquistadors and like the Aztecs, like just pieces of war that have been gathered by the tribe for centuries.
Yeah, you can tell that they've all the people they've killed.
Yeah, they're generations on generations of warfare. And then you have a group of people coming in like, I hope I can get $100 from this, and they just get wiped out immediately. If we could see something similar to that, so basically I'm kind of turning back to what you were saying in the beginning. Maybe they just get wrecked.
I've never read Blood Meridian, but I've seen that the judge character is he's supposed to personify like capitalism or like that kind of like looming Western expansion or whatever, right?
I would say Western expansion more than like just capitalism.
Well, I guess the capitalistic thing of like taking more than you're required or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like kind of like the ever growing expanse or that kind of thing. Do you think that Briggs is going to be something similar here of like, do you think he will like show,
well,
or do you think or I guess instead of like speculating, I guess has his, with all the characters we've seen so far, have you gotten any inkling of that?
So not really, because with the judge, one of the judge's main influences was Lucifer from Paradise Lost. And that's in a lot of his dialogue. The judge is a tempter. Like, Whereas Briggs is kind of like, don't think about the money. This is going to be a hard fight. The judge is like, think of all the money you could get. Think of how great this will be for you. He's like the whisper in the back of their ear.
So, and yeah, Briggs is definitely a little more
hard. He's more like this. Is
I guess not a little more. He's
stage
definitely like only take what you need kind of thing, or what you just, or what you earned.
Stick to the battle. Stick to our plan. Like this is a serious thing, sort of. Whereas the judge would be more on leading.
I think that the line that kind of made me be like, I feel like he knows more. It's just when he's just like, because they're like, oh, I haven't shot a soul in a week, and he's like, oh, you might not like what you see. Or he basically just like more what you're bargained for. I feel like there's more to that statement.
I'm comparing it to Blood Meridian. That doesn't mean this story is one for one. I'm just saying the characters
100%.
remind me of 100%. Some of the characters here, just from the flowery language stuff, which is a compliment to the story because Blood Meridian's a fantastic novel. But I think Briggs is trying to keep his head on straight. I think whatever happens, I think he'll be either the first to die, like, and that will immediately disrupt everything, or the last, because he's the only one that actually has like a sense of the danger they're getting into. Like, you got one guy back there, I ain't shot a soul in weeks. And it's like, this is
the only parallel that I've made so far, because you've done Blood Meridian, I keep thinking about Moby Dick. I keep thinking about Ishmael.
You can draw parallels between those. Yeah.
Ishmael being comparable to the unnamed soldier here, and then Briggs to me has a very Ahab stoicness, and it's laser focused on the hunt for this thing. Which, granted, I don't know what the hunt is. Like in the Moby Dick, it's very much the obsession of
the whale.
But here it's just so far it's been the prize. But I'm wondering if there's going to be like a fun ulterior motive, like, yeah, I brought everyone in this dangerous thing for my kind of like.
I can see that. Yeah. Maybe they get out
here. That's where my world, where I was like, I there's just like that, Queequeg being like the ultimate, harpooner kind of guy and stuff like that. And he's like the big, just like some of the fun parallel with like, Starbuck and all the other people too.
Well, I mean, like, that's a good comparison because one of the main things with Moby Dick is Ahab didn't reveal his intentions until they got out there. And it was only the people that had been with him a while that knew of this obsession. Yeah. Like Ishmael didn't figure it out until they were at sea and came across it. I think they actually don't even mention until he sees the white whale for the first time and like recklessly charges towards it. So yeah, that's a good comparison. Man, we just started reading this guy's stuff and we have compared him to Cormac McCarthy and Herman Melville.
Well, I think it's interesting I guess it's just to say for people that are writing, because this is also, once again, this is just a fan submitted thing on
r/Creepcast,
whatever, is that I think that you can also proudly wear your influences, or not even, we're presuming that that's what he's influenced, but I think that you can wear your influences in a way where it's like the flavor and the texture of like the other stories are there that only benefits your story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that just something to be mindful of people who are writing. Just be like, don't shy away from your inspirations. I guess,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Assuming this is like some of the, which I think is fair, especially like you said, if he's a fan of mine. I think it's fair that he's familiar with Blood Meridian and stuff like that, at least.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with writing stories that have things you like.
I just don't want to be presumptuous, and he's just like, I wasn't even thinking about that.
It'd be funny if he's like, I've never thought of Blood Meridian in my life.
My Moby Dick, and no, I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
I exclusively read Jeff the Killer fan fiction.
Yeah, and I'd be like, that's awesome.
That's great. And how did
you've done very well for yourself, yeah. All right, next entry.
I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Aura. It's still the spooky season when something as scary as identity theft could be around the corner. I mean, take a look at this report. It's insane the amount of personal information on here that data brokers could have access to. This is everything they could get a hold of, and it goes on for pages and pages. The amount of detail is absurd. I mean, at this point, it's impressive if you haven't had an account hacked or fallen for some phishing scam. I say as the guy that recorded a video and then gave my Twitter login to someone unknowingly. Trust me, having your information stolen can be scary. Thankfully, today's sponsor, Aura, is here to help. Aura protects your privacy by identifying data brokers who are selling your info. And it does the hardest part for you by taking your information off of phishing sites and making sure it stays off. And while there are a ton of services that offer the same thing, none of them offer as much as Aura does at their price point. And Aura just makes personal security easier. You can set up to get alerts whenever your personal information's found online, and real-time fraud alerts on your banking or credit card accounts. Plus, they provide things like a VPN, an antivirus, a password manager, and much more. So if you're looking to start taking your internet safety seriously, then now's the perfect time. That's because if you head to the link in the description at aura.com/creepcast, you can try Aura for 14 days absolutely free. That is right, 2 weeks for free. That's more than enough time to start getting your info off of these suspicious sites. Again, head to the link in the description at aura.com/creepcast to start helping yourself today. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring the show.
Can I tell you a secret? I'm in desperate need of medical attention and care. I'm so old, fat, I'm falling apart at the seams. But I don't know what doctor to use. I don't know anything about doctors.
And that's why I use ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors. Choose the right one for your needs and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much, much more.
Probably dick and ball stuff, boys.
And the nice thing about ZocDoc is that you can filter for doctors that take your insurance, are nearby, and are highly rated. It's super easy to use, and you can find an appointment time that works for you with the right doctor for your needs. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. Oh my God! You don't want to admit it, but you should probably see a doctor. So stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Creepcast to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Creepcast. ZocDoc.com/Creepcast.
The next day, September the 19th, near the San Mateo Range. We fetched the smoke at last. It sagged along the pines like a torn shawl, chalk white at sunup and coal black by noon. Briggs swung us wide, the wind set behind. He watched the ground as if the soil itself confessed where the feet had trod. His gray passed under him without fuss, pricking for every stir but never losing the trail. By midday, we topped a ridge. A hollow lay between. Hogan scattered low, smoke coiling from vents. Sheep nosed the creek bank. Young ones poked the mud with sticks. Women worked clay and meal. Scene sat plain and homelike, near harmless to the eye it offered. Yancey showed his gums.
Easy pickings.
He laughed, rocking in the saddle. Rick showed a finger. He took the hollow in with a hard mouth, then spoke so clean every man caught it.
We ride hard. Camp sits in the flats. We strike mounted, fast, wheel left round the Hogans, break them from their fires. First volley carbines, second sabers, no prisoners, burn what you leave.
Yancey's colt pitched and slid Pike's way. He rode it out, still gumming.
About time. Was near to forgetting the stink of fresh work.
Best you remember how to keep your seat. Any man bested by his horse gets left where he lands.
Gray stamped once and squared. Briggs leaned in and laid a palm along its crest. Sight narrowed into the valley. He cut the figure of a captain then, hat pulled tight, carbine resting across the horn. Briggs lifted a hand and broke us in two. Jesse and Charles Boone took half to the right. Rest followed after Briggs through a sage-choked cut. My Rowan placed each hoof down as if it smelled the coming work. The camp showed all at once. 6 earth-low Hogans, smoke turning out the vents, sheep inside a willow pen. Women moved at the fires, youngsters with armfuls of sticks, 2 men taking sheep to the creek. What struck me was the hush of it. They had no notion that wolves were upon them. Briggs drew his saber and held it high. The sun flashed cruel of the blade. His voice rang out.
Ride!
We spurred down the slope. The sound was thunder. Hooves tore the crust, carbines barked, and the day split into hollers. I marked the first shot I sent. The man by the pin, palm still on a sheep rope. The ball struck center, and he folded without a word. My Rowan drove on, sting in my sight, powder reek, and horse heat rolling. Yancey whooped like a drunkard, swinging his carbine by the barrel and striking a woman across the back as she fled. She fell face first into the dust, her hair black with dirt, red with worse. His colt fought the reins even in the charge, yet he spurred it harder, both man and beast salivating at the mouth. Man, just in the violence, the command of worse to be like, the back of her head with dirt, her face red with worse, and like the horse and beast salivating, like just such great descriptors for how horrific
Painful.
this is. Yeah.
Dirty.
Yeah. Yet Briggs cut through the camp like a scythe. gray horse stepping sure, his saber flashing in the sun. A man came from a hogan with a bow drawn. Briggs split him from crown to collarbone. The arrow loosed.
Ouch.
The air turned to cries. Sheep broke the pin and went under our hooves. Pike hung deep over the horn, snapping shots into door shadows, working charges with foul talk between. Harlan cut down a little one clinging to its mother's dress. The woman dropped over her child, and the Texan yanked her off by her braid and laid a knife across her neck. I cannot pretend I stood aside. My Rowan ran a man down, bones breaking under hoof. When the first rush passed, I dismounted, took my pistol, and walked among them. A man stumbled from a hogan with blood down his arm. I shot him square in the face. It was work. No more, no less. The thing went fast, as this breed of thing does. Roof slit, stock open, corn poured into dust. The cry sank under flame and smoke. When the killing thinned, we worked back on foot. Torches went into thatch and vents. Dry cedar took fire and ran skyward with a roar. Women dragged themselves out, clothes burning, and found steel waiting. I kept to Briggs through the wreck. He spoke no mercy and made no halt, only tipped his blade where a crawler moved. And another man ended them. His gray stood patient under him, the firelight glinting off its blind eye. At the far edge, Yancey held a girl from a doorway, no more than 14. She clawed and bit, but he struck her down and set to down her wrist. Briggs rode up close and leveled his steel.
Kill her.
He said, voice flat. Briggs fixed him, and the thought died.
Kill her.
Yancey wavered, then pulled iron and fired into her Yancey wavered, then pulled iron and fired into her breast. She went down like a feed sack. He spat after.
A waste.
Briggs put a heel to the gray and moved on. The earth had turned dark with what bled. Smoke clawed the chest and fire drew tall. Sheep lay opened, legs still thumping out their last. I dropped one knee to chamber again. My grip shook, though not from scruples or shame. Hard money is bought this way. In the meantime, fire took the hogans one by one until only charred ribs stood. Smoke bit at sight. Ash rode the wind and gritted our mouths. Men prowled the ruin like dogs that have torn a carcass and still nose for scraps. I near had the pistol charged when Charles Boone called.
Another hut yonder, tucked in the brush.
Briggs had taken the gray to the creek. With him away, there was no rain on the men. We tailed the Texan through scrub and rock till it showed a low hogan, half buried in cedar. A thread of smoke slipped from the vent, then a yarn.
Thought we had 'em all.
Pike muttered, drawing his carbine. A pack of wolves came tight, hungry still. We set to with our rifles leveled, though none thought a fight was waiting. Jesse shoved the mat aside, and the door gave with a boot. Inside it was near dark, save for a shaft of late sun cutting through a gap in the hatch. The air was close, rank with sweat and smoke, yet colder than the burn of outside. Against the far wall squatted a cage of willow poles bound with sinew. A woman crouched within. Her hair fell in a dark snarl, her stare sunk in a dirt-smeared face. When the light found her, she showed her teeth. Her forearms bore raw marks, maybe her own work. No words came, only a hiss through the bars like some wild thing caught cornered.
She looks like she bites.
Harlan said, flicking a pebble through the cage. She snapped at it, teeth bright. Yancey sank beside the bars with pistol loose.
Wild stock. Still got fight. No using her. Best put her down.
Pike said.
Use enough for me.
Yancey answered.
She'll pay me back for what Briggs cost me.
A few laughed, thin as leaves. Donnelly bent double in a fit of coughs, face near purple.
Leave it!
She's wrong. You can read it in plain.
The woman sank lower, body drawn tight, sight cutting from man to man. When it struck me, it felt like cold steel laid flat to the neck.
Shut it! You've been hacking since Santa Fe. Only sick one here is you, and you'll cool for any of us.
By the doorway, Jesse worked a ceramic jar open with his boot toe and whistled short.
Boys, over here.
We turned. Inside lay a folded thing. Feathers laid like scales, gray, white, and mottled dark. An old dry scent came off it, like long shut rooms.
Bird coat?
Jesse said, lifting it. Quills chattered, brittle under the beam.
Rage like owl.
Donnelly said, clearing his throat.
Old folks like me say that owl ain't no good luck. Means death's close.
Yancey barked.
Death walks with us anyhow. Maybe they suited her for the end of the road.
He tipped his chin at the cage. Her hiss climbed, sight pinned to the coat in Jessie's grip. She thrust through the slats till her nails scraped bloody against the wood.
She wants it back.
Pike said, spitting black juice on the floor.
Reckon it stands for more than dress.
Reckon it means we ought to burn the thing.
Harlan said, shifting his weight.
No?
Said Jesse, clutching it to his chest.
Worth something, sure. Look at the work. Might fetch a trader's coin.
The woman shrieked then, sound not of throat alone, but from the gut, raw and ragged. Colt outside reared and screamed with her. Yancey swore, features drawn.
Captain made me drop the last one. I won't get robbed twice. What you say, boys?
Charles chirped in.
Have to be one at a time, else she'll snap in half.
Donnelly cut in.
Enough. This ain't soldier's work.
He folded with another fit, but his words carried. Yancey rose slow.
Ain't soldiers' work. We ain't soldiers. She's ours till she's dead.
Talk turned coarse then, each man putting forward his say, each jest fouler than the last. Their shadows swayed across the walls, long and twisted. The woman's gaze never shifted. She watched as if weighing us, as if our words were pebbles in her hand. Donnelly caught my coat.
Come on. This ain't our fight.
I backed for the door. Yancey swung towards me.
You walking? I am.
I said.
You want her? Take her. I want no part.
Their laughing chased me into the smoke outside. Donnelly braced on a post and coughed into his sleeve. He said nothing, only set a worn look on me no fever could explain. Behind, the hut swelled with harsh talk. Sound ran together with the snap of burning roofs. Horses struck the ground farther off, restless. I poured a measure of water over my hands, though no dirt came free. Briggs came back before long, his gray flank wet from the creek. He saw the Hogan smoking, the men walking out with their shirts half done, their faces like dogs after the kill. He said nothing.
End of entry. Whew. Couple of interesting things there, for me at least. Really like in stories or any kind of narrative, whatever, whenever you have a buildup of characters that seem a bit cartoonish, almost like innocent. You have the two Texan boys who are kind of joking and being like, well, I hope I get to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Whatever, all that stuff. And then you do something great with the narrative here where then you actually dump it and you make it, oh, this is like real and this is brutal. One, even the thing here where the woman was assaulted by these men doesn't draw it out, doesn't do whatever. It's just a sting of just like, one, it's doing a couple things across this. It shows how ruthless everybody is. Even Briggs, our main protagonist, even though he isn't participating in that, he's still like stampede over somebody, did all this other stuff. The cartoonish, joking nature they had before translates over in this horrible way to where now when you're like, oh, I kind of like this group of people. Now you're kind of like, I don't really know how to feel about any of them.
It went from like likable dialogue and set pieces to like
it resets
slaughter.
everything.
Yeah.
It resets every dynamic you have, which I think is a lot of fun. But
I mean, obviously they were bad in the conversations beforehand.
well, yeah, but
they were like you
it's
said,
not
they
in
were
practice.
cartoony. Yeah.
It's not in practice even. It's like
Exactly,
it's like in a story where it's like, well, I've killed 20 men or whatever.
Exactly,
You've
yeah,
never seen it, and you also haven't seen it described where this is an innocent. These are innocent people just hanging out, and all of a sudden these people raid in. Even like the idea of the job was just kind of like, yeah, we're going to go in and do X, Y, and Z. But until you actually hear about it, you're like, holy shit. So this reset, one, cleanses you of being like, I don't even know how to feel about any of these people.
No.
So now you're kind of suspicious of everybody of like, well, if they're able to do this, what else are they willing to do? But then there was a couple things. By having it be so over the top and kind of like people were fucking getting mauled, there was a couple, which I don't know if I read this right, literacy comprehension, once again. But arms bare, she's biting at this thing, almost reads like a fucking like werewolf kind of creature or something to where it's like,
She's like digging across
you have,
the ground.
they have had no idea what these people are. She's like this feral kind of like creature basically whatever.
She looks human. They
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that-
yeah. But I just mean like she's like biting and all this. There's just like a couple things where it's like, oh, it looks like she had chafed arms. Where it's like, oh, probably by her own doing.
She looked like she
It's
dug
these
into her
little. It's like these little remarks where I think those are important details to where it's like, well, no wonder no one paid attention because of all the fucking crazy thing around them.
Mm-hmm.
But even for the reader, then it's like when you go back and read it again, you're like, oh, it was the marks were right there. I just didn't notice with how crazy the rest of the things were, going.
Well, most crucially, when one of them picked up the feathers at the front of the door, she started freaking out,
Yeah.
trying to get over to it or something. And they're like, I reckon she wants it back.
But then you have that because that is dropping clues for the reader. But then you immediately you once again blindside the viewer with them just like taking advantage of this person.
Yeah, right after that, Yancey says, well, she's ours till she's dead. And then,
Which is horrible.
Yeah.
Despicable thing. But it just like the author is dropping these clues for you, but then he's also just being like throwing these other stuff. It's like so much happening, but all the information's there.
Yeah,
Just
it's all
kinda
there.
cool.
It's all laid out in a way where you process it. It's not brushed over, but it's in the midst of so much other stuff happening that it just comes off naturally.
Yeah.
Which also, we talked before in stories, like there's so many that will use like sexual themes poorly, like sexual violence and stuff like that. And we'll always say like, there is a way to do it right. And I feel like we rarely ever get to one that does it right. But I do feel like this is, if you're going to include it in a story, a way to do it right, where it doesn't become exploitive of the topic. It is an element of it in a sense that you would kind of be doing a disservice to the original historical account that it's working off of. Like, this was a thing headhunters were doing on behalf of the government around this time in history, right? If you kind of shy away and act like they weren't rapists and murderers, that kind of discredits what actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, there's an argument always that this story would be the exact same without that, but the author's using it in a way where I think now more than ever, obviously, but not even just all this other stuff, but it's just like it makes you hate the people even more. The murder and stuff is horrible and everything, and it's just like the extra cherry on top of all this other stuff that they're doing to where just like these people are just like
to the degree that our main character and that other character, Donnelly, I think, are like, this isn't our fight. Walk out. Like, they're fine to, like, as they said, like, kill people with swords and shoot families and children, but this is like too much. This isn't part of the job. Similar to the horse earlier, the horse is willing to follow whatever orders if it can get scrap in between.
Yeah, I think that's like an interesting thing too. Is it's worth noting that like I don't think that it's not that they're any better. I mean, they're still fucking murderers or whatever. But I think that there's going to be like this gray area where like you're like, oh well, Donnelly's cool because he didn't participate in that, and then you're going to be blindsided when oh no, he's still a fucking murderer.
Yeah,
I like it's just
when Donnelly
woven
walks
in a
out,
way that's it's woven in a way that's it's interesting.
When the two of them back out there, it's Donnelly. When the two of them back out right there, it's like, oh well, that's good, but they didn't stop her from getting raped, and also they murdered dozens
there's
of
just
people.
death and everything all around us. And there's still something about Briggs where I'm like, I just don't think that full story.
It'll
think
go somewhere.
He hasn't
knows
revealed
more
everything yet.
than he's letting down. I will say, like, for the
Also,
weight of it,
burning everything. I feel like he's trying to purge something, or he's trying to.
well, that was standard for them at the time.
Oh,
The
was it?
headhunter- Yeah,
Oh,
burn
okay.
everything you come across, so they can't reestablish the area. Because the idea was to wipe them off the face of the earth, right? So burn everything you come across, or take it. And like, there's that one Yancey was trying to tie up a 14-year-old girl to keep and stuff. Like, they're horrific things, but the author understands the weight of what he's talking about. There's a respect for the subject material that makes it feel earned rather than like phoned in.
Yeah.
With details like that. Yeah. Good writing.
Next entry.
Next entry. September the 22nd. Camp north of the San Mateo Range. 3 days from the burning and the stink rides our hair still. Smoke outlasts blood. With each mile the troop grows sore-tongued, for fortune has turned. The mutton we dragged from that place spoiled in a single night. Okay, so prediction. Them, like specifically the feather, and obviously killing the village, but messing with the feather and stuff like that, they've brought like a curse upon themselves, something to that effect. The mutton we dragged from that place spoiled in a single night. Grubs, thick as grits, worked the fat. Pike split the sack, gagged, and kicked it shut. We pitched the mess into the wash. Coyotes made short work of it. Come sunup, one dog lay stiff on the bank with a black tongue. The corn went the same road. Damp got into the cloth and the kernels turned to mush. Donley swore it smelled like a body left too long in the sun. He would know the scent from his own stench. Toward dark, by the blaze, Jesse broke out cussing.
God damn my hide.
He said, thumping the dirt with a fist.
I left it behind.
Pike asked him.
Left what? The jacket. Owl feathers stitched fine. I had it in my hand. Set it down when Yancey made his noise with that girl. Meant to fetch it after. Forgot.
Harlan let out a rumble.
You weeping over bird feathers? Worth more than any of you.
Jesse said. Fire painted a mean cast over him.
Would have brought silver. Should have been mine.
Briggs sat apart, sharpening his saber along a whetstone. He said nothing, though I saw his eye on Jesse. Donley hawked red into the dust.
You ought not have touched it at all. That woman looked ready to tear the bars apart when you held it. Best leave behind what riles a beast. Beast?
Jesse curled his lip.
She weren't beast. Just a squaw like any other. She howled enough to set Yancey's colt near on its back.
Pike muttered.
I remember it. Thought the damn thing bolted in the fire.
Yancey bristled at that.
My colt's got more fight than your crowbait.
Takes a strong seat to keep him. Strong seat or not, you ain't its master.
Harlan said. Yancey pushed up from his blanket.
Say that again, you sow-riding bastard.
Briggs cut across him.
Sit down.
He did not look up from the blade. The whetstone sang in long pulls. Fire snapped. Men sank back to their cups. Night dropped heavy. No star worth naming. The wind cut keen. I laid down. Gosh, I'm just such a sucker after the conversation. Like, no star worth naming, not drift king. It reminds me of like all the poems I would read, like growing up around Appalachia. The like local authors would use to talk about the mountains and stuff like that. Like,
Inbred stuff.
Such an undercut. Jeez.
What did I do to deserve that one? I was having a good time.
Just add a little pepper to it. I don't know.
Man, gosh. Earlier I was talking about coal miners and I was describing like the big worker strikes and like people dying in the mines. And Hunter doesn't say a thing. And then when I get done, he goes, well, I mean, they were like mole people, so it's really like a give and take sort of thing.
No, I tell you that you're right. I mean, like the people sat there and the brother and sister lovers.
No, you can't.
Brother and sister lovers with the three fingers and the fish mouth and stuff like that. They do write pretty poems and stuff.
Wait, what did you have? Brother and sister lovers with 3 fingers and a fish mouth? Is that what you think of me?
Poetry in its own right.
Yeah, everyone's Spock out there.
Fish loves him.
Make love to your sister.
I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, AG1. People coming from my channel will know that AG1 is your daily drinkable dose of vitamins and minerals, providing you with the brain, body, and gut health you need to thrive. Especially with AG1 Next Gen that contains 5 probiotics and even more vitamins and minerals. And AG1 is backed by 4 clinical trials showing that it fills nutrient gaps and supports gut health. But I can tell you from my personal experience that it just helps me feel better. No longer do I feel sluggish midway through the day or don't want to go out in the evenings. Turns out a diet of junk food makes you miss out on a lot of the stuff your body needs. And AG1 makes getting those things your body needs as easy as possible, because all you need is a spoonful of AG1 and 8 to 12 ounces of water and you're good to go. Plus now, in addition to their original flavor, you can get AG1 in berry, citrus, or tropical flavors. Which if AG1 makes speaking to Hunter for hours on end bearable, then imagine what it could do for you. So start giving your body the nutrients it deserves and head to the link in the description at drinkag1.com/creepcast to get a free welcome kit when you subscribe. That is right, a free welcome kit that contains things like an AG1 flavor sampler, a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2, and more. Again, head to the link below at drinkag1.com/creepcast to sign up for as little as $3 a day. So again, just head to the link in the description at drinkag1.com/creepcast to sign up for less than $3 a day. Thank you to AG1 for sponsoring the show. We are now back to the episode.
Lay down under my blanket and shut my lids. Yet the horses stirred. First a shuffle, then snored some pounding rope links and stamping. By the time I rose, Yancey was on his feet, cursing.
Goddamn nags!
He grumbled, jerking on his boots. He strode for the picket, the blaze casting a shape long. The roan went up with the whites rolled white. The rest yanked their ties, drawing hard, hooves drumming dust.
Oh, easy now.
Yancey called, voice too sharp for comfort.
Settle it. Damn it!
He seizes the reins of his colt and pulled hard. The animal screamed high, half like a woman. Came up and lashed out with both hind feet. The kick took Yancey square in the skull. He went down without a word, but for bone crackling. His body pitched sideways and his legs kicked as though he still rode in saddle. Foam showed at his lips. Men scrambled from their blankets, curses flying. Pike shouted,
Hell, he's done for!
Briggs stepped out of the dark. He stood over Yancey for a spell. The man lay on the ground, whites rolling, limbs jerking in fits. Briggs drew his Colt, thumbed it back, set one round into the skull. Twitching stopped. Briggs holstered the iron and freed the roan's tie, smacked the flank and sent it off into the dark. Then he turned, his eyes black as burnt wood.
Get some sleep.
He said, words thin by long miles.
We ride at first light.
No man answered. I alone kept watch after. In the glow of the dying fire, I saw a shape above. A great owl sat upon the limb of a cedar, feathers dark as coal, eyes wide and fixed upon the camp. It did not move nor stir when I rose to throw more wood on the coals. Its gaze burned steady, and I knew it had come for us. With daylight, we left Yancey where he fell. Coyotes would see to him by sundown. No grave was dug. So, interesting way for Yancey to die, because it's mentioned earlier how unruly his beast is, both of them like foolish, stubborn. Then it kills him. But there was the line earlier when I think it was Yancey said, or maybe it was the author said Briggs would be the death of Yancey. Or maybe Yancey's looked at Briggs and said, you'll be the death of me. Something to that effect. Sure enough, Briggs was the one who walked out and put him down with the gun. But it was from Yancey's own foolishness. He was unable to control his horse, had no interest in actually breaking it. And then he gets killed when it's in a wild spur, kicks him in the head.
Yeah, even like this owl kind of omen that's looming over them now.
Well, what'd they find in the hut? Owl feathers.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Is it almost seems like they like cheated death, or they were kind of, it just seems like the owl feels to me almost like death following them.
Yeah.
Where now it just seems like they're the sins of man, whatever their faults are going to be the things that kill them.
It's a reckoning.
The excessive greed as well. Like I think that's just like you're going to pay your dues kind of thing. So
yeah.
Next entry,
September the 24th.
So 5 days since the last one.
The last one was the 22nd.
Oh, that was
because the killing was on the 19th.
Yeah. Okay.
3 days of riding. 22nd, so now 2 days later. September the 24th, east of the San Mateo Range. The nights draw out, or feel that way. The owl's still with us. Each camp we make, it sets itself above, watching. Always in sight, though never near enough to strike with the lead. Its wings spread wide, black against the moon. Some of the troop grumble, some spit curses, others go still. None of us find clean sleep. Donley went bad soon after Yancey's burying without a grave. First, the same cough as always, then worse. What he hacked up ran thick. By yesterday, he could not mount without another man lifting at his belt. The sun peeled him down till he shook. Briggs rode near and gave the order no one favored.
Time to that saddle. He rides, else he dies here.
Man, talk about could you imagine how miserable that would be? I mean, obviously the character
Like living in that time or whatever?
Well, living in that time, but specifically like getting sickly and then sitting in a saddle all day in the hot sun. No shade, just baking. I like the way he describes it. It peels him in the saddle.
He's just chapped. He's just like lips probably all blistered and stuff.
Coughing up.
Dehydrated
mucus.
no end. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And worst of all, no internet.
Now you have to tie him to a saddle, or else you just leave him if he falls out.
Yeah. And now, too, Briggs is also becoming this kind of person where everyone's just kind of like, well, he's going to be alive until Briggs says we have to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If Briggs says we leave him, we leave him. Briggs walked out. I mean, obviously, Yancey was at a point you couldn't do anything for him.
Well, yeah, it's like a merciful kind of thing.
It was like a mercy killing, but Briggs was also the only one who could make that call. I'd say, walk out, shoot the guy.
Well, yeah, no one batted an eye.
Yep. No one complained. And which also, again, harkens back earlier to the story, when the author says, when Yancey dies, there will be little fuss over it. Sure enough, they don't dig her grave. Just leave him for the wolves. We bound Donnelly upright. He hung like soaked canvas, chin sunk to chest. His dun bore him without protest, though the beast staggered under the weight. Donnelly's head bobbed with the trail's roll, and once or twice he gave a rasp that might have been words. None could tell. At the midday stop, Pike broke the quiet.
He's done, Captain. Best to end it.
Briggs fixed him with a stare, then said,
He rides. Ain't no good to him or us.
Harlan added. Briggs' hand rested on the butt of his Colt.
He rides.
That shut the talk.
Almost seems like he needs him. Like, it seems, I wonder if he's just like prop him up. It just seems like with the other one, if he really didn't need him there, I feel like he would have killed him.
He needs Donnelly for some reason.
I think so. Or whoever is, yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there's just something where he needs a certain amount of people or something like that. Is my gut intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the flames, Donnelly let out a low grind, the sort a man makes when the inside of him has gone to water. Jesse dragged a stick through the coals.
Hell of a sight. Worse than Yancey.
Pike said.
Yancey went fast. This one drags.
No one laughed. Briggs settled beside Donnelly, the gray tide near. He spoke near nothing, only brushed a strip of cloth across that brow. No man dared wisecrack. Donnelly once stood close to Briggs, as close as any can. They fought side by side in Texas, or so Pike swears. Night dropped, the blaze fell to coals. Then the first call toward the dark, high and drawn out, too strong for any bird, yet it carried the shape of an owl's call. It came once, then again, nearer. Charles swore.
That bird is following us. Then shoot it.
Pike muttered, fumbling with his carbine. Harlan flicked dust from his cap.
I drew it on it last even. Lead went through the branch. Bird never so much as twitched.
Call rose again, up above. I raised my face and marked it on a juniper limb. Twin embers set in tar. Wings tall, spread wide as 2 men across. It held fix on us. Only watched. It's got like a 10-foot wingspan up in the trees. Man. Briggs rose, revolver drawn. He planted his boots, took his sight, and fired twice. The reports rolled over the rock. Chips jumped from the limb. The bird did not shift. Only the smoke slid off the barrel on the night wind. I lay close to the ground, listening. Donnelly rasped beside the fire, a wet choke with each breath. His chest heaved and sawed, ribs like blades under skin. Briggs sat beside him, brim slanted, revolver laid across his thigh. The owl held still till the fire dimmed. Then it spread wide and rose with a cloth-ripping sound. Dark fleck against the stars.
End of entry.
Man, gosh, a giant owl. This black owl in the trees following them.
Kind of interesting, too, that they've all noticed it and tried to kind of shoo it away instinctively. And it just almost has like the Raven kind of Edgar Allan Poe vibe, you know?
I mean, he shoots it twice and it
doesn't even care.
stays there.
Also, its wings totally like... It's like a fucking...
It's like it's accepting their souls, like it's waiting to gather them up and take them.
It makes you think of like when an owl comes down and grabs like a mouse or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like a prey
It's just
animal.
like waiting.
Yeah.
It's like looming up there, and at any moment it could just be like whoosh,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Big enough to carry him off, too.
Fucking 10 feet wingspan. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Hello? Yeah. Who? Holy shit.
Briggs, that is the scariest bird I've ever
Briggs, I'll be
seen.
completely honest, that's the scariest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
I plead to God, we burn the forest and everything in it.
We should really stop settling for the night near trees.
We should. How about this? We keep riding until we're dead or we get there.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going, but I'm not stopping again. September the 27th, foothills north of the San Mateo Range. We rode 3 days more with the owl dogging us, ever above, ever near. Donley withered to a husk, tied to his dun like a feed sack. His crown drooped, mouth gone loose, a wet rasp working in his throat. The talk drained out of the troop. Even Jesse, never short of words, kept his own counsel. Toward dusk, we struck sign of a runner. Fresh moccasin prints threading the sage. Briggs swung down and read the dirt while the gray knocked flies from its hide. He raised 2 fingers and sent us along the trace into a wash. There we found him, a Navajo, lean and worn, a stave across his knees and a knife at his belt. He carried the stamp of a man driven near the end, yet his regard set hard as tinder. He circled him fast with the carbines up. Pike took his measure up and down.
What we got here? A straggler? Ought to drop him now.
Jesse rolled. Pike ground his heel in the dust.
Let's hear what he knows first.
Briggs eased his gray a pace closer.
Speak English?
Navajo spoke rough but plain.
I speak enough.
The man's regard ran hard across our line.
Camp no more. Burned.
He tipped the stave towards the way he'd come.
Smoke rise. Children cries. You make it.
Jesse snorted.
He knows us, boys.
The Navajo lifted his hand, palm outward.
Not for talk of smoke I stand. For woman. You let her free.
Oh.
Here it goes. That's the woman that they.
Yep. One of those in the cage. The pack shifted on their feet. Pike spat a brown stream and asked.
What woman?
Navajo's mouth twisted.
Not woman. Never woman. Chihidi. She eat babies. Take hearts. Wear feathers. Owl now. Owl always. You see.
Interesting. I had the thought when it was like a giant owl, I kind of thought to myself, maybe it's like a skinwalker transformation thing.
Have you heard of like the Chihidi before?
I don't think I have. Let me be lame real quick. Ghost or malevolent spirit of the dead, often thought of as a ghost or devil. That's excellent. What a great thing to let outside.
Oh, damn, man. We had sex with it. Oh, fuck.
Most often the spirit of a dead person. Taught to avoid contact with the dead or in closed places like a hogan, where someone is passed to avoid coming into contact with a chindi or contracting it. Okay. So you're not supposed to come into contact with one. That's why the house was over in the bushes, put to the side in a cage, because someone had died there. It was a spirit contained. No one was supposed to step in there, and they came in and touched it a lot. Got super
Way
close
to go.
to it.
Also, all the stuff that they had taken from the place is completely rotted.
Yes.
So I think each person's just going to start deteriorating probably.
They're going to start decaying, falling apart. The spirit's been let loose now. I remember I have a friend who's Navajo, and I remember him telling me that there are, because me and him were talking about like demons within like some Christian beliefs, like succubus and stuff like that. We were talking about like things that will be a temptress or appear as a woman, and he mentioned that there's like shapeshifters within Navajo belief like that. And I don't remember the word chindi, but I imagine that's
Also, I could be completely mispronouncing that.
well, it said often spelled as chindi.
Chindi.
Yeah, because the abbreviation was like the I's, and the italics is like Navajo speak specifically, but chindis or chidis probably like the English way.
I'll start saying chindi if we keep coming up.
But this, by the way, this story being like a Blood Meridian-esque like headhunter group coming across a cryptid that like tears in pieces, my heart, right up my alley. I love it.
You're bought in, so.
I'm bought in. I've been bought in, and I'm doubling down. He lifted the stave towards the sun. The men fell silent, each eye following the skyline. Briggs' voice cut hard.
Say it plain.
He said,
She was caged. My people bind her long years. Hungry, but bound. We feed her little, just to keep her not loose. You cut cage. You use her. You leave her. Now she walk free. She hunt all. Not only white men, not only Navajo. All.
Harlan swore and rubbed his chin.
He lies. Some red gone mad, that's all.
Navajo looked on him with contempt.
You think lies you see. She eat nest. No bird safe. I'll take all. Sky, ground, night, day, no safe.
Jesse snarled.
Then you'll die too. Die. All die. Navajo leave this land. Not safe. You too.
Pike leaned on his saddle horn.
Captain, I say we got him here. He talks too much.
Briggs kept him in his eye.
Why should I keep my men from you?
Navajo sat on Donley, slumped and tied to the dun.
That one's sick. Breathe black. You leave him, he die slow. I take him, he live maybe. Hear us try.
Hard laugh went around. Charles grunted.
Healers? He means cut his throat and leave him for the buzzards.
Harlan shifted.
He ain't living anyhow. Let the Navajo spare us the work.
Pike asked Briggs.
You trust him? I sure don't.
Briggs held his tongue and ran a palm along the gray's neck. Finally he spoke, his words cut straight.
We give him over. This man dies by your hand, or if you leave him in the dust, I will come for your tribe. Every lodge, every tent. You understand me?
Navajo kept a dark face.
I understand.
Briggs turned to us.
On time.
This is interesting because earlier he refuses to let Donley die. And then there's the mention by Pike that the two of them have fought together a long time. So it's like the one thing that would make him not just kill this Navajo like he has everyone else is his loyalty to Donley, their friendship. That maybe if this can help him, then I'll trust him. I'll let this guy go. Pike scowled yet loosed the knots. Donley slid from the dun like a sack of meal and gave one deep groan. The Navajo bent and swung him up, light as a child, slinging him across his back. Jesse twitched towards his revolver.
Captain, you really letting this rat walk off with one of ours?
Briggs' eyes burned black.
Dunley's near gone. We waste food and time strapping him up right. This way both sides get a chance.
Harlan kicked a clod.
Or a hole in his throat.
Briggs answered cold.
If so, I'll know. And I'll come back for every one of his people. That is enough.
The man moved off into the brush with Donley over his back. Their thread thinned among the cottonwoods until only the wind kept on. No one spoke for a long spell. The gray stamped once and settled. After a moment, Jesse said,
I'll stake coin we never see Donley again.
Pike worked his tobacco.
Better him than me.
All right, man. Gosh, this is so good.
Next entry.
Next entry. September the 29th, along the Broken Mesa country. 2 days since the Navajo runner slipped off into the cottonwoods, and the camp has grown mean with silence. The owl follows yet. None can deny it. It circles when we ride, and each night it perches near enough that the firelight snags in those embers it carries for eyes. Near midnight, Harlan came up screaming. Blanket wound round his forearm like a drowning man to a spar.
I dreamt of her. The one we pulled from the cage. She walked through the flames and her hands were feathers. She set them on man's eyes, and then we opened them and owls flew out.
That night we built 3 fires and drew in tight. First light, we found the Texan Boone. Not Jesse, the other one. Charles. He had held the watch before dawn, carbine across his knees. We found him split. Ribs bent like fingers pried apart. His eyes were gone, only 2 wet holes left. Feathers stuck in the blood across his chest. That's interesting because Harlan had the dream and said she walked to a man, and when she says eyes on him, owls flew out. I imagine either of him or her. So it's like that was his dream of what actually happened to Charles over the hill. Jesse dropped to his knees and let out a noise like a hound caught in a trap. Then he came up, colored drained, taking the ring of us.
Which of you bastards did this?
No one spoke. Pike crossed himself, then caught my eye and stopped. Harlan swore small and worked his hat brim to the floor. Briggs came up, took one measure of the body and swept dirt across Boone's face.
He's gone. We ride without him.
Jesse rushed him, teeth showing, clawing at air. Briggs stepped in, caught him at the wrist and slung him to the earth. The Colt was out before Jesse hit.
He's carry on.
Briggs said, flat as truth usually is.
Stay down or join him.
Blood threaded from Jesse's lips as he rolled to his knees, kept his mouth shut. That night, we stacked the fires high. We drew the stock in close, yet none of them settled. Pike's Bay ran slick with sweat. Harlan, surreal, punched holes in the earth, ears pinned, eyes white. My own Rowan trembled, neck down, snorting. Only Briggs Gray held steady. The blind side turned to the night. The owl called once more. Sound cracked through the dark like a green log on fire. It set Jesse to his feet. He brandished his revolver.
Cover me then.
He hollered.
Come on, and I'll split you to hell.
He threw 6 rounds into the black. Each flash lit his face, lips skinned back in a grin that meant nothing. When the smoke thinned, the bird still called. Pike told him, soft as mud.
You pulled in, fool.
Jesse wheeled wild face.
Let it come. I'll put my knife in his guts. I'll...
Cry came again, closer. It set the horses to screaming. The bay broke loose, reins snapping, hooves tearing the ground. It ran headlong into the night. We heard it shrink once. Nothing. No man said a word after that. The owl did not call again. It's like every time she comes as an owl, someone dies each time. Or death soon to come, like with Conley. October the 1st, Broken Mesa Country. I set my hand to these pages, though the grip shakes near as bad as Donnelly's did before we gave him over. If any man should find this book, take it for a warning. I know not if the sun will find me alive come morning. This night split with a wind full of grit enough to skin a man raw. We tied the stock short, set 3 more fires, checked rifles. No man slept. Jesse hunched over his blade and talked to himself in a thin thread of sound. Meanwhile, shadows worked tricks across the ground, swelling large, shrinking small, never matching the flames that cast them. Every beast tethered near rolled its gaze to the ridgeline, snorting, stamping deep holes in the crust. The smell of singed hair rode the air, though no man set torch. It was when the night was loudest the owl came for us. No call first, none of the distant mournful notes we had grown to dread. Instead, it dropped like a stone from heaven, wings spread wide enough to swallow half the stars. The air slammed against us as though a canvas had been ripped overhead. The fire burst upwards as if some hand had seized the flames and torn them sky high. Sparks rained down upon us, biting the skin, setting blankets alight. In the glow, I marked her, tall, twisted, cloaked in wings thick as tar. Her eyes were red coals set deep, her mouth a beak that split wide and gnashed with teeth like endless stones. She strode between firelight and shadow, and every man swore he saw her in a different place. Oh, man. Gosh, that's so cool. It reminds me of Mother Horse Eyes in the old story of the Water Tribe, how the giant bat demon thing comes onto the rock for the girl. Even the description where, like, the cats in that story were watching it rise above the hills and then land. All the horses were looking to the ridge line where it came cruising down, man. Pike cried out and fired blind into the dark.
Shoot it! Shoot, damn you!
His round smacked dirt and whined away. Harlan raised his rifle and the stock tore against his cheek as though wrenched by unseen hands. I fixed sight on it full then, straight in my path. Feathers heavy as storm banks sagged from her shoulders. No bird, no woman, but some mistake between. A creature built from the wrong parts of both. The beak tore open and what poured out was no simple cry, but a howl carried by a dozen throats. Men groaning, women shrieking, children wailing, all rising together. My guts folded as if every sin I'd pressed down came rushing back through that one sound. Briggs cut through the racket.
Saddle up! We ride!
Pike shouted.
Ride where? She flies!
Briggs swept the line, face black with soot from the smoldering camp.
Saddle! Mount and ride! You flee for Carson's Main. My horse is the only one with courage. I'll keep it busy.
Pike's throat cracked.
You'll be killed!
Briggs' glare burned through the haze.
We're already dead. Best I buy you another hour.
He swung into the saddle. The gray lifted its head proud, stamping once, eyes like chips of glass in the blaze. The sight of the pair struck me frozen. For that instant, Briggs stood the hero he might have been, a true soldier unbroken. He spurred forward into the stands.
Ride!
Barked once more, then he was gone. We mounted in a frenzy. Men dropped their rifles, kicked at stock, clawed at tack. My roan trembled under me, veins thrumming, spit hanging thick from its mouth. Still it carried me when I drove heels into its flanks. Behind us rang 3 sharp shots. measured, certain, then silence. We drove through the mesa country. Each man bent low, attention cut into the sky. At first, there was only the wind. Then came the cry. That terrible cry. After a span, Pike twisted in the saddle, his color drained.
It comes.
I wheeled in the leather and watched. It crossed the stars, dark and vast, wings wide as canyon walls. It fell upon us like night itself. Harlan screamed. The thing stooped once and he was gone. Mountain man lifted into the black. One cry split off and died, then nothing. Whoa, it just snatched up him and the horse. Just.
Thing's fucking huge.
Yeah. You know, also, this probably. Have you heard of the Thunderbird before?
No.
There's this legend that, like, cavalry soldiers out in the West around this time reported seeing something they called the Thunderbird, which was a giant bird with, like, a giant wingspan that would pick up horses from camp and carry them away. There's, like, there's some people who say, like, maybe it was a pterodactyl that survived or whatever, like a giant dinosaur bird thing. So this kind of ties into the legends of that as well. Pike fired over his shoulder, spitting curses so raw they hardly made sense. The bird fell again, its wings hammering air. It smashed Pike from the saddle, rider vanishing into a spray of red mist and quills that drifted down like snow. Just like crushed him to death. My roan fled behind, foam running, whites flashing. I clung to saddle and horn, the dark a smear. Behind all went still but for the thunder of wings. Then the roan stumbled. A foreleg snapped like timber under an axe. I pitched forward and the beast toppled, weight crushing across me. My leg pinned under, bone near cracked, the flesh screaming. The horse thrashed wild, foam and blood working from its muzzle. I drew pistol and put a ball through its skull. The weight sagged dead. I lay under it, air burning my chest, desert rough against my skin. She came on then. The owl sat upon a rock not 20 paces off. One cold, bright orb glowed from her ruin of a skull, the other socket now hollow. Where a heart ought to rest yawned 2 holes surrounded with blackened plumage. Yet it lived, if such a life can be named. I reached for my powder horn. The arm shook but held true. I poured what charge I had left into my palm, set it with ball and wadding. I meant to make a bomb of it, to set it alight and strike when she came. Better that than wait to be plucked apart like bone. The owl shifted, wings stretching wide, feathers spilling into the dust. The sound of its call rose again, low and long, a voice like the tearing of the sky. My ears bled with it. I scratched these lines with the book on the dust. The charge waits beside my knee. She closes in, on ember bright, her shape draped against the stars. If these pages be found, know I rose to meet her. I aim to trade fire for flesh and powder for blood. Whether it ends her or not, it will not be said I lay idle. Her wings roof over me. Night bends to her shape. The air spits. The earth shudders with her cry. I close here.
And that is the end.
Dude.
What an awesome fan story, dude. That was
Oh
sick.
my gosh. Oh, it was written so well. What a great writer.
The Journal of an Unknown
man.
Soldier. It's fun. I like the idea, too, that someone did come across it, and that's like just the transcription.
Just found
of it.
amongst the desert, amongst a pile of bones.
The Thunderbird kind of analogy, or like the Thunderbird mythology kind of thing is fun, too. Like, it feels like this is a piece of that mythology that you would find out there.
Yeah, like one of the early legends that started the stories
dark
about it.
desert of the western landscape, you know what I mean?
Oh, just the writing was so good. The descriptors, the adjectives, the command of words. There were so many fun things set up, like Yancey, or being like Yancey, or Briggs will be the death of Yancey, and then he was, and like the brutality that's matched by like the fear they experience over the next coming weeks, and like the Navajo they come across, and like how Briggs almost had not humanity, but he had valor in his own mind in senses where he's like I'll let this Navajo go if he can save my friend, or at the end where he's like, my horse is the only one brave enough, you men ride, I'll hold it off, and he dies. Like, obviously a horrible person, but in his mind there was a justification. There was a code.
Yeah, code of honor.
Yeah, they had a code of honor amongst himself.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't deserving of honor. just so many interesting little character moments baked into such a short story. And like it was all written so well, like each of those character moments were described, and the way the language changes between like the narration and the dialogue. And God, it just felt so full. Even little things like, how do we write in that the men discover it's a chindi or whatever, a chidi? And it's like, okay, well, they come across a Navajo. That could be a cheesy moment, except because there's been another village burned and he says he can take Donley, maybe the only person that lived through this, which would, not that Donley's still a killer, but he was one that stepped out of the tent. Him and the rider were the two who left. So maybe it's saying that, you know, Donley survives, taken away by the Navajo, the same people he had killed, because he didn't go in this one further act of evil with the woman in the cabin, or the woman in the Hogan, who turned out to be the Chindi. But like that moment, one that feels natural with Briggs giving off Donley, is also the expository moment that's used to give the information about what this cryptid is, but it doesn't feel like exposition because it all works together so well. Just so many interesting moments, like well written, from like the actual wording to how scenes are framed and stuff like that. This is great. Trevor, Strange Accounts. We're going to have this story linked in the description. He has written multiple of these in the r/Creepcast subreddit, which sounds, this is an absurd place to put these stories.
I think it's a great place to put it.
Just that he's this talented, and as far as I can find, he's not published or anything, which this keep writing, dude. This was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I say it's I've broken record, but simplicity in the story. Two things literally happen: they raid a village and they ride away, and you're able to get so much out of something that's so simple. It's not convoluted. It just takes its time, and it like ushers through these like two simple things. It's so crystal clear, and I think that like it benefits greatly from it. Like I think that sometimes on paper, you're like, I mean, all they did was raid that, and then they just rode away and they got attacked. But you can really get so many miles out of something that's just so simple. And I think like it didn't overstay its welcome. The characters, just like we knew enough about them to be invested, and then they were taken away from us. And you know what I mean? It's like, just really fun. I mean, like it was great. I mean, I'd love to read another one of his stuff sometime. I think it was awesome. Especially I like this format of the entries. That's always fun. You know, I always like this. We read some stories to have like the kind of like little entry points, but I liked it a lot.
This would also, by the way, not to take away from Trevor's writing, this would also not be allowed on r/NoSleep.
Really?
Because it didn't happen to the author. It didn't happen to the person posting it to the site. So
it's just something I found. Bye-bye. Wrong.
I don't think
Banned.
so. Unless you open with the beginning where you're like, you open the beginning with, hey guys, so I'm posting this thing I found. Also, I think there's an indestructible pedophile in the closet.
Banned. Thank you so much to our audio listeners over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Thank you guys for giving us the good ratings there. Also, thank you to our patrons who support us and get a little extra juicy content on the side. And thank you to the author Trevor, who decided to upload this to our Creepcast subreddit.
Link will be in the description.
Link will be in the description. Sure. But please, guys, be creative. Post the stuff on there. Like their community's been reading more stuff, been commenting on stuff. If you want an excuse to just dive in, not everything's gonna be a fucking home run. Sometimes you gotta like make some shit before you make some stuff that you're really proud of. It's all about the process and having fun. Even if people are like, this sucks, that's fine. It's okay. So just know, post it, have a good time. We thank you, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
See you in the next one. And also, I think this story makes up for what Harry did to us with the brick story. So he's back on neutral grounds with that. Don't get too excited. Bye.